So for those of you who don't know, Taiwan is a country.
Yes.
Okay.
Taiwan number one, really.
Yeah, exactly. Taiwan DE. Just very briefly, there was a civil war in mainland China. I should just say in China. Nationalists and the communists. The communists hid out in the hills while the nationalists fought the Japanese, and their numbers whittled down. And when they were weakened, the communists struck from the mountains. So the nationalists knew they were losing and fled to the island of Taiwan, where they set up their own government and went through their own growing pains, had horrible things happen there, dictatorships, all sorts of crap, but evolved into a thriving democracy, which we see today.
Yes.
It has never once ever been under the rule of the Communist Party of China. It's never had anything to do with the Communist Party of China. It is its own thing. It's got a vibrant democracy. It has a fantastic tech industry. In fact, the chips that are inside of most of your electronic devices, the high-end chips come from Taiwan. A lot of high-end electronics come from Taiwan.
Yep.
Fantastic place. And, you know, like currency and passports and everything, they got their own setup. Okay, but China claims that. They're like, screw that, we want a piece of that. And then they're like,
They want the whole thing.
yeah, they basically say, hey, it belongs to us anyway, so everyone else, you better recognize that it belongs to us. Otherwise, we're not going to deal with you and sell you our cheap labor and stuff.
That's right.
Okay? That's the setup for this. But now the president of Taiwan, the democratically elected president, is very diplomatic, very charismatic, and she was going to go on a tour to some of the few remaining countries in South America that still have diplomatic ties with Taiwan. Because China's going around and has been for decades now, like, hey, if you've got diplomatic ties with Taiwan, we're not going to deal with you.
Honduras
You do not get, you don't get our cheap goods and our cheap labor. And they threaten them, and so they cut ties. Anyway, during her whole visit, she did a transit through America twice, through the USA. On the way down there and on the way back.
Yeah, she went to New York and then California.
Yeah, so first to New York. We spoke about that last time, where they paid protesters to go and stand there and wave the Chinese flag and so on.
Oh, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, anyway, on the way back, again, transiting through. Now, of course, mainland China hates this because they cannot understand how a free country operates. They cannot understand how governments in other countries operate, because to them, they're like, no one is allowed to recognize Taiwan as a separate thing. No one is allowed to even talk to the president there. They don't realize that the government in America is not a dictatorship. President Biden can't say, you may not talk to this person, and then the whole government's like, no, because there are so many different faculties in the government here.
Correct.
Anyone in the government has power to talk to whoever they want. You know what I mean? Within reason. You're not going to go sit with Putin or something like that, you know, without authorization.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. That's the thing. So Tsai Ing-wen wanted to come in here and just talk to, you know, she got an award from the Hudson Institute. She spoke to the Speaker of the House on the way back, and that was the big thing. China did everything they could to prevent her meeting with the Speaker of the House.
Because this has happened before. Remember, Speaker of the House Pelosi went to Taiwan to visit, right? Now, Tsai Ing-wen, president of Taiwan, came to America to visit the current Speaker of the House.
I got to tell you one thing. You know what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from China just slapped sanctions on?
What?
Going to read you a little list.
The Reagan Library?
The Hudson Institute, obviously, because they gave her an award. The Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Why are you sanctioning a library? She met there with someone. And
that library's going to be pissed.
That library's going to be like, oh no, like now I can't physically take my building over to China for a holiday? I don't get it. Like, okay. The chair of the Hudson Board of Trustees, John Walters, Hudson CEO and President John Hugh Bush, however you say that, ex-executive director of the Reagan Foundation, Joanne Drake, chief admin officer of Reagan Foundation. They've all been sanctioned now, so they can't go to China. Yeah, it's kind of petty, isn't it?
Who cares?
Anyway, so we just wanted to set that up.
Yeah.
And now this was kind of crazy, okay? The Chinese spokespeople were going out there with the rhetoric, the mounting. The spokesperson was out there like, don't make this mistake. Do not cross this red line. Do not go to meet, whatever. And something that the LA consulate, because now she's coming back, and there were like mentions of plans for her to meet the Speaker of the House. So the LA consulate put out, so the Chinese consulate of Los Angeles put this out, put out a statement saying McCarthy is ignoring the lessons from the mistakes of his predecessor, talking about Nancy Pelosi, who went to Taiwan and caused Operation Fishkill. Remember that? Where they fired missiles into the sea nonstop, to try and intimidate.
We'll show you.
Yeah, we'll show you. You visited this island? Screw you,
They literally killed millions of fish.
Yeah, well, they'd already outfished them all.
So there was still quite a few left.
Yeah, the few that were just close to the borders of Taiwan there.
Right.
Anyway, McCarthy is ignoring the lessons from the mistakes of his predecessor, it said in a veiled reference to Nancy Pelosi's visit, and insisting on playing the Taiwan card. And this is the important part. He will undoubtedly repeat disastrous past mistakes and further damage Sino-US relations. It will only strengthen the Chinese people's strong will and determination to share a common enemy and support national unity. So who are they calling a common enemy?
U.S.
Obviously the United States. They're not calling Taiwan a common enemy, are they? Because
Well,
they claim Taiwan as their own. That's
Correct.
they can't say that they are their own enemy.
Nope.
They're referring to the United States. Do you realize, everybody out there who sees the rhetoric going on around in all of the different governmental circles and so on, what does Biden and all of them say? Oh, we treat China as a competitor. It's all about a competitor. No, China treats us, the rest of the world, as an enemy. And right here it is in black and white from the LA consulate, their statement saying a common enemy. So we have to see it for what it is and stop beating around the bush here. The Chinese government does teach its own people that the Americans are the enemy, that America is the enemy.
Yeah.
That's stuff we saw when we were there. That's the rhetoric that goes around. And this is the kind of official statements that are made.
Yep.
Enemy, common enemy of the Chinese people. So just remember that next time someone's trying to tell you, oh, America's this terrible, horrible, whatever it is, and they're the cause of all the problems. It's not true. We're dealing with a very undiplomatic nation here. And you have to bear that in mind moving forward. That obviously, from the eyes of the Chinese government and what they're telling their own people, America is a common enemy. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this...
By the way, props to both Pelosi and McCarthy for getting China to finally spill the beans in English to the rest of the world.
Yeah, exactly. So now that you know that that was their threat, of course, it actually did go ahead. But before it did, I'd like you to explain what this is all about.
Some WeChat messages are going around. Just in case you don't know, WeChat is China's most popular messaging app, kind of like WhatsApp or a DM system underneath, like a text messaging system, but it does a lot of stuff. Anyway, long story short, Chinese people still use this when they go abroad because they're still used to communicating with people in China. Yeah. And because China cuts off and blocks all other apps, it's their only option. So they continue to use it. It's like an ecosystem.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, if you're living abroad and you want to contact your family and people in China, you have to use WeChat. Yeah. You can't use WhatsApp because your friends in China, they're like, well...
China blocks it.
Yeah, we can't use it.
So anyway, long story short, this app is a hotbed for organizing activity amongst Chinese people, right?
Yeah.
Now, these messages are going around. Well, at least, we got a hold of them. And what they were saying was that everyone needs to organize to protest Tsai Ing-wen's visit in California when she went over there.
Yeah.
Now, we were covering the whole visit when she went to New York. We know a lot of people are very close to the area, so we got a little more insight on this one. But we found out that they did the exact same thing over in California.
Yeah.
And they mobilized people, and they sent around messages claiming that people were going to get paid, right?
Yeah.
And then a little bit of debate was going on in some of these messages because the original deal apparently was $400 would go to every protester that showed up, right?
Yes.
And follow the rules, so to speak. But then the people that were organizing this, from the embassy all the way down to the people on the ground, were taking cuts. So $80 here, $200 here. And by the time at the end,
it's like, your transport, your food, we're going to subtract that. So you're going to end up with just $80.
So people are like, what the hell? We're supposed to be doing this for free. Why is what we even have corruption here in this scenario? So that was kind of funny. So these messages apparently leaked out. And this is really egg on the face of what happened. Because what this insinuates is that people in California that went to go protest on the side of the Chinese government to support the Chinese government, right?
Yeah.
To say, Tsai Ing-wen, get out of here, leader or president of Taiwan, you traitor.
Yeah.
Whatever derogatory language they want to use. Were not there of their own volition. They were there because they were told to go.
They were there
because they were paid, right? Yeah. And we started to see this. You look at organic protests, you'll see things like, you'll have small mobilization, obviously. But when we saw pictures from people we know that ended up going to the protests and sent us these photos, we started to notice a trend. And what did we see?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to tell you that in the messages, you didn't include all of the messages here, so you just put 2. We had more. But in the messages, they tell the people exactly where to go to get on the bus. They got addresses like the bus will pick you up here, et cetera, to take you. So, it's a mass organization. And then if you look at the footage and the pictures from the protest itself, you can see here's the van that they were handing all the flags and banners out from. So people would arrive on the bus. You'll see we've got footage of it. They would arrive on the bus. They'd go to this van where the organizers of the protest would hand them out. You can see the big rolled up Chinese flags there. You can see the banners over here. You can see the American flags because they handed out like an American flag and a Chinese flag together.
To make it look unity.
Yeah, exactly. You can see everything. The banners are all here. All the posters and everything are in this truck. So it's all from a singular source here. And let's take a look. This is them handing out all the protest materials to the... Have you noticed they're all old people? It's all those like middle-aged, they're not employed or they're retired.
There's no passionate young people.
They're just like, hey, it's a paycheck.
Yeah.
And I get to be nationalistic. Why not?
Wait till you see the pro-Taiwan crowd. It's people from all races, all backgrounds, all ages.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a specific demographic that hey, if I get to go sit on a bus, it's free, I get paid money, and I get to go protest, right?
Yeah.
So, see, they're all getting their posters from this one place. And their flags, see?
Most inorganic shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And there's the bus that they all arrived on there. See, they're being bussed in.
Yep.
So they get bussed in. They come in on this bus, which picked them up at that address, which we have in the messages. Just take my word for it. I'll post them on Twitter or something if you want to see them. They come in on the bus. They get off the bus. They go to this van to pick up their signs, which they haven't read. Some of them don't even care what they don't care what they say. It's just
shout out to Inti,
this.
by the way.
Yeah.
Inti took this video. Link to him in the description, by the way.
Yeah, you can find links to everything in our description. Yeah. Anyway, so here, go hold up this banner. Here are your flags to hold up. Okay. So just so you know how this is organized. And of course, the allegations are that it was the LA consulate who actually set this all up.
Yeah.
So it's actually the Chinese government paying old Chinese diaspora people money to go and protest Tsai Ing-wen.
Yes.
Okay. Not only that, but these NGOs, which, by the way, anyone who's anyone, please pay attention, dig into these people, because these people just keep coming up everywhere. This Code Pink and Pivot to Peace have been very instrumental in like barging into government, discussions on China, saying China's not our enemy and all this nonsense. Definitely, they always turn up with CCP, pro-CCP type things. So definitely something's going on there. Check them out.
Yeah.
Okay. But some of the Chinese is not correct in that sign right up there. The grammar is incorrect, so whoever did it ran it through Translate. It doesn't matter.
All these same bullshit things we see, and every single one of these things is so sus, by the way.
Yeah.
Because can you pause it there?
Yeah.
Other than the old Chinese people that get all their shit from these vans.
Yeah.
It's always these. Let me read the signs again. It's always this pivot to Pivot to Peace.
Pivot to Peace.
And then this China is not our enemy, which is that
Code
group
Pink.
from Code Pink, that group we talked about before.
Yeah.
And they're always at these things, and they're the only people that represent anything other than that paid diaspora of old Chinese people, and it's super sus. It's always sus as hell, because those people don't even look like they know what they're even there for, or what they're even talking about.
Absolutely. If you dig into these organizations, without a doubt, you will find out that they're very tied to the CCP in some way or the other. without a doubt. Because why else would they be doing all this stuff on their behalf everywhere?
Because it's the veneer of like, oh, we're preventing war because America shouldn't like supply anything to Taiwan. And what you've done is taken China's side and said, yes, we like war. We want to invade Taiwan. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but why are they also at the ban TikTok stuff and all that? You know, it's all just
pro-CCP. It's also pro-Russia stuff.
Yeah, it's all pro-CCP, all Russia. They definitely... Look into it. If you're anybody who's anybody, look into these organizations, please.
It's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue on because let's show you what actually happened at the protest. On the one side, you've got, as you can see up there, all the Chinese flags and banners that were handed to them from that van. Okay,
yes.
That's a very inorganic, very organized, paid-for setup. Okay, as you saw, we're going to bus you in. We're going to give you your flag. We're going to give you your banner. Go stand here and say like, China is one China, you know, screw Tsai Ing-wen. Of course, some scuffles broke out, as you would expect. But also look on the other side. Sorry, this side. The pro-Taiwan side. It's completely different. It's very organic. Yes. Many different kinds of flags.
Different
and
signs.
Banners.
Different logos.
People got there on their own steam. They're all driving there in their own cars.
At different times.
You know, like, it's a real organic protest. You know what I'm saying?
Some scuffles broke out, of course.
Yeah.
As you would normally have. It's that, dude, it's China's third civil war.
It is China's third civil war, yeah.
Don't demonetize us, YouTube. Nobody got hurt here. Stop.
Yeah.
Don't. I know you're itching. They're itching right now to be like, no, age restricted.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's fine. Don't you dare report this video.
Yeah.
I'll pee in your tea.
Oh, man. All right, so we're building up to something here because something funny happened.
Who would have thought China's third civil war would have happened over in California?
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Same shit happened in what's it called? In New York. Mm-hmm. But they weren't like across from each other like that across the road. Of course, some of these videos are taken by Inti, which I've linked to his description in the description. He is a Uyghur who is pro-Chinese human rights, pro-Taiwan, obviously.
Not only him. I saw some of these from other people too.
Also, these came from other people that were there
on Twitter.
On Twitter, but the whole thread you could find from Inti's source.
Yeah, you can find links to everything. Anyway, so that's what you had. Is you had the pro-China side on one side, which was a kind of a paid protest, well, a paid
at least alleged paid.
Allegedly,
protest,
okay, whatever. You know, it is true. It's alleged, but you know, I allegedly took a sip of water right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be not a douche. You know.
Of course, no, you got to do that. And then you had a mixture, basically the Milk Tea Alliance on the other side.
Yeah, Milk Tea Alliance plus Americans that support Taiwan independence or Taiwan just lay off of Taiwan.
Yeah, and they're like Taiwan go, and I'm sure you can notice in the background there that sign up there says Xi Jinping Tani Ma.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
that got Drew Pavlou arrested, right?
He held up that sign in Australia, and the police tried to charge him.
He had to go through a whole legal battle, right?
Oh, yeah.
What I want to say is get your shit together, Australia, because look, you can do it all day in America.
Yeah.
No one's going to do shit to you.
Exactly.
You had a nice protest here, friendly little protest. You had people from all walks of life. Who's this dude with the top hat, by the way, with the China flag?
I don't know, some holding up some Trump stuff or something. So, no idea who he is.
Anyway, this it looks chaotic, but it wasn't that bad.
No, this one scuffle was caught. Either way, there shouldn't be scuffles from either side.
No one should be doing that. Anyway.
Yeah, tensions are running high. It's obviously very contentious.
Yes. So remember, this was all because Tsai Ing-wen was visiting California, right?
Yes.
And people mobilized. And again, remember those messages went out to tell people where to go and what to do. And those buses trucked people in. And we see this time and time again. We see these inorganic-looking mobilizations, but it gets even crazier because of the amount of money that China spends on these. It always turns out that the Chinese embassy mobilizes these people, and then it trickles down to these weird... We talked about this last time. There are these weird organizations like the Fujianese Women's Friendship Association. These things will pop up overnight and get like NGO status or whatever. And then all of a sudden there's thousands of these groups operating on behalf of the United Front in China in America.
Sure, to go to these protests.
It makes me lose so much hope in how things are being like policed or looked at. Because when you have a country that declares you their enemy, and then operates United Front groups on your own soil, what the hell's going on?
I know, that is a bit much.
That's bullshit.
Of course it is.
Obviously things have changed, and this is a newer problem.
So yeah, they put a lot of money into this. So again, here we've got our good old, let's get us down there, Xi Jinping Tani Ma sign. I think it's important to point it out.
Yeah. That was on the news in Taiwan, I believe.
Taiwan news, yeah. They put so much money, they paid a skywriter, or at least not a skywriter, those guys who drag banners behind planes.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a best of.
Yeah. Hello, little pink, the lackeys of CCP.
See organic signs like that.
Yeah, of course. It's a mishmash of stuff. Obviously, guys, we're on... Yeah, we're on their side, okay? Let's not pretend that we're being neutral in this particular instance.
Oh, of course not.
Of course, we're completely against the fact that these grannies that are paid by the CCP, allegedly, can go and protest... Where in China they can't.
Yes.
In China it's illegal. You can't do that.
Yes.
Imagine holding up a bunch of American flags in China to protest the Chinese government meeting someone.
Imagine that. Can you imagine that?
It's impossible.
You'd be rounded up and shipped out, if not disappeared.
You couldn't even have an American flag on your school for crying out loud.
Next to the Chinese flag, exactly what they're doing to say, cooperation between China and America.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
The police came and they said if I didn't take it down, I'd be arrested.
Yeah.
And fined.
Yeah, for your own school, which is very benign and nice.
Yes.
You couldn't have a flag up. No. So, it's just the hypocrisy of it all. It's actually it's insulting.
Bullshit.
It's insulting.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
if you're supporting the CCP in the US, I don't see any reason for you to be able to legally create an organization that takes commands from the Chinese embassy in America. Yeah. That's insanity.
Yeah, it is. It's overstepping certain boundaries, one might say.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're shouting $400 a day because it leaked. Those obviously, like people that received those, hey, we'll pay you $400 or whatever. They shared it out. Right? Yeah, it got shared out. So before the whole thing arranged and came to this point, people knew about it. That's why the people on this side are shouting $400 a day.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so now this is the fun part. Friend of the show, Lele Farley, he went to the protest and he dressed up as his persona, MC Lur, okay? And he dressed up in the Red Guard uniform here. And he went to join the protests. We're going to play not the whole thing. It was segments of it, links to it in the description.
Yes.
But this was hilarious. Okay, so he actually went there and joined the pro-China side and trolled them.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a look at what he did. So I'm just going to fast forward to the part where he actually arrives there. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look.
活动出席是因为 MC 乐觉得中国现在的经济明显下滑，但是我们现在这个大外宣的开支实在是太高了。We're here to make sure that the money is being well spent.
I heard they give $400.
$400? I better see $400 worth of effort from every single one of these people here, or I'm gonna be pissed. 我会举报。可以给我一个吗？可以。谢谢。可以。好，来吧。
Yeah, so you see he's actually at that van. They handed out the flags to him too.
为祖国去上。
But did you hear before he arrived, they were like, 大家过来, it's like, everybody come here to get your flags. They were actually shouting to the people coming off the bus. Come here to get your stuff.
可以啊，社会主义好，不要告诉他们。我是支持祖国的，我是为了祖国出来效力的。大家一定要非常入戏。你是否关注美国政治或者中国政治，我无所谓。你只要收了钱，一定要入戏。我是中戏毕业的，我会监督大家的这个演戏水平。OK， 不能出戏。哎，这个风景还可以吧？这个是最美丽的风景，是吧？喂，你就直接录下来吗？为什么不要自己亲口说呢？
我不知道，别人让我拿的。
You see, this is very important. He's exposed something here. She's got one of those bullhorns. Now in China, you get this all the time. You know those bullhorns? They got a little. You can record like a loop. Yeah, exactly. So you can record like, I don't know, a 30-second clip on it or whatever, and it repeats it in loop. So he's like, "Oh, did you record this yourself? Why aren't you speaking it?" It's like she says, "I don't know. Someone just asked me to hold it."
Yeah.
So again. They're not organic protesters. They don't stand there and they're not believing in what they're doing.
No.
They're just being paid to do it.
Yes.
Here, hold this bullhorn with this pre-recorded message.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of crazy.
I don't want to give away the whole video.
No.
So I want you to know that he does flip sides, and there's a whole roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
It's all in the description.
Yeah, the description. Go watch it because it's important. There's a lot of things that you can glean from this video. It's got subtitles, by the way. You have to click that little CC thing.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic video. It'll open your eyes. But my favorite part of it all is, let's just try and find it here so that you guys can see. Because, he poses with them and he gets them to say a lot of nonsense. And then when he switches sides to the other side, they get to a point where, let's see, where was it? He basically shouts at the bullhorn and says, if you did this in China, you'd be arrested. What are you doing? That kind of crap. Yeah. But where's that part where they did this thing?
从表演的角度来说，他们这个演技太差了。我靠！习近平，你听他们这个。
So, that's my favorite part because they were all told to chant traitor
about Tsai Ing-wen, president of Taiwan.
So the Chinese side's chanting traitor, and then the Taiwanese side says Xi Jinping, traitor, Xi Jinping, traitor. It's like, it's so
good.
They
didn't change.
No, they didn't stop. So it's like Xi Jinping's a traitor. It's really good.
It was some grade A, like filet mignon level trolling.
Yeah. So this is, Lele Farley again. Lele Farley, what am I saying? Lele Farley hitting it out of the park once again. Fantastic video.
It's over 1 million views.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Obviously got shared on Taiwan.
Turn on subtitles if you don't speak Chinese, though.
Please go and watch it. You've now gotten a little bit of a taste. And if you haven't gone and subscribed to his channel, he is brilliant. Like, he's a good comedian. His Chinese is excellent.
He's on the right team.
Yeah, absolutely. Better than most people that, Chinese people that I know, his level of Chinese. I know that sounds weird, but it's true.
But the one thing I would say to China, too, at no time, I am the Speaker of the House. There's no place that China is going to tell me and where I can go or who I can speak to, whether you be foe or whether you be friend. I'm not the general manager of the Houston Rockets. And the one thing I hope all countries see is that we're united in the same approach, together, on both sides. And we're going to speak with one voice when it comes to China or any others when we look at foreign policy.
In terms of China policy, we've had from both sides, from the Democrats and Republicans with Pelosi and McCarthy, nothing but wins.
I know. It's great. I love how he says I'm not the general manager of the Houston Rockets.
That was some top tier trolling as well.
Because you guys remember that, there was that whole thing.
Where they kowtowed to China.
Big time. Yeah, you could look into it. Anyway, so Lele Farley filmed this while he was there, his crew. Look, one China, Taiwan is a part of China.
Over 10 grand, right, to run one of those things?
How petty is that? One China, Taiwan is part of China. You paid an advertising company to fly that in the sky.
In America.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I do that in China? Can I go pay an advertising company to say Taiwan #1?
No,
in China?
no.
I'll get executed.
You will.
I'll get murdered.
So will the
How ironic
pilot.
is this? Yeah.
Yeah. It's dumb. So this is the Chinese government pouring a lot of money into all these influence operations over here. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're like, look, this is bad optics for us because hey, this shows that the president of Taiwan is diplomatic and she can go and talk to people, and people might take her seriously, and they might actually side with her on things. So we got to do something about it. So let's mobilize the grannies. Let's offer them some money. Go set up through the consulate these protests. Let's pay this advertising campaign, and let's also take out billboards in Times Square where the president of Taiwan is shown as a dog. Be a good dog. You know?
This was literally running in Times Square.
Yeah.
Be a good dog.
Yeah.
And then they have just offensive political cartoons.
Yeah.
Very shit cartoons, by the way.
Terrible.
They're not even funny.
Yeah.
They're just shitty.
What is that even supposed to be?
I
Be a good dog.
Like they made a shitty AI. Like Ernie AI made this shit.
They've got her like kissing a picture of a dead cat at the feet of
America, I guess.
America. Probably because of her cat warrior, whatever it was.
She likes cats, whatever. It doesn't matter anyway.
I mean, come on, guys. How pathetic is this?
I mean, America must be pretty rad. It seems pretty hypocritical and dumb for China to be calling America the enemy when they're allowed to run all this stuff in a free country. They need a free country to proliferate this message.
Yeah.
You should love America.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we found out something interesting. Actually, you found out something interesting.
Yeah, I did a little digging.
Because there's like, I actually asked you when we were looking at this footage, right? I'm like, how much did they spend to put up adverts in Times Square? Because in my mind, it costs a lot of money.
Well, so for example, you know that airplane thing, it's very expensive. Thousands of dollars, if not 10,000 plus. Yeah. But this, on the other hand, was in Times Square. You're going to think this is going to be, like, I don't know, 100 grand?
Yeah,
for,
it's got
for
at
a
least.
minute?
At least.
$1 million?
I'd say, like,
right?
it's in the most watched spot, you know?
Because not only do you have the ad that goes up and has all those eyes on it, you also have footage of that to say, look, we were in Times Square.
Of course.
Which is huge, right?
Yeah.
So I looked into it a little bit, and I found that this TSX Entertainment Company, which has an app and all this kind of stuff.
Go to TSX Live.
It was being portrayed on their screen that they bought in Times Square, right?
Yeah, so this is a screen that belongs to this company.
TSX Entertainment. So
here it's got like Tsai Ing-wen rolling out the carpet for America and America's dog.
I guess. Is this supposed to be Uncle Sam or McCarthy? I don't even know.
Whatever it is.
Anyway, so this TSX Entertainment, I got weird vibes at first, and I was like, maybe it's like a Chinese company. It's not, actually. It's totally above board, totally fine. Nothing wrong with this company. What they do is they bought an expensive billboard, right? And then they only charge people about $40 to run a 15-second ad. It's like it's kind of like anyone can have their chance in the spotlight type of thing.
For 15 seconds.
It's kind of a nice idea, to be honest.
Well, I mean, if you're making $40 every 15 seconds, that's not too bad.
No, for sure. So
how many seconds in it? How many seconds?
I'll be honest with you. That's not that much money if you're talking about the real estate. What this is, though, is promotion for their company. It's for their ad. It's for their ad space. It's for to get eyes on their company so that people can use them for other promotional materials, right? It's like paying for advertising where people pay a nominal fee to keep it running. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What happened was, this has been a phenomenon for a while, is the Chinese government / Chinese people / Chinese companies would use the Times Square real estate boards to promote Chinese companies and all this kind of stuff because it's free advertising space. You can do whatever you want. People's Daily's been using it before. CCTV, Chinese media uses it. But what happened was people found out in China.
I mean, we're talking upwards of $230,000 a day anyway. I know it's not a lot for that space. I'm just saying it is something.
Yeah, I mean, it pays for itself probably.
It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
It is, but it pays for itself probably, right?
Yeah.
My point is, it's not like the massive profit. It's an advertisement for their company.
Yeah.
So anyway, people found out. Can you go to the next slide? People found out. This guy found out in China that he could rent this space for $40 for 15 seconds. And he posted a video with him and his partner, right?
Yeah.
And think about it. It'd be a cool proposal idea. It's sweet. It's nice. And then other Chinese people started doing it. And he started running a business where people would go to him in China and be like, holy shit, you can get my video, my Douyin video, my dancing, my whatever on that screen in Times Square.
Right.
I'll pay you more. So he's making like $5,000 a month doing this for other people, right?
Right.
Problem is, That's all well and good, and that doesn't matter. That's great. Good for the company, good for the Chinese people that want to use it. Good for the guy, the middleman.
So it says 90% of the video advertisements are from Chinese people.
Yes, because it became a trend. Yes, and that's whatever. It doesn't matter. But what happened is that the Chinese government gleaned this information and are now using that billboard and that company to run nefarious ad campaigns against Tsai Ing-wen and other Chinese government propaganda because it's cheap. And what it does is it gives validity to it. So they'd be like, as seen in Times Square, like CCP number one.
Yeah, it's like, America believes, agrees with us.
COVID didn't come from China. They can run that kind of stuff.
Of course they can.
Run whatever they want. So it's actually a little bit of a deep dive. We figured this out. And it turns out, I would expect, if China has this multi-billion-dollar budget for propaganda abroad, by the way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just ended up buying most of the screen real estate for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think that you can have this disgusting political propaganda in Times Square, in the skies, on the ground, and it's totally fine. But none of this is legal in China. None of this is okay in China.
Dude, somebody start buying up the ad space. It's only $40, 15 seconds. Start running the China show ads. Oh, come on. How awesome would that be?
I'm pretty sure that they're going to have to put a cap on this because this seems it seems too easy to exploit.
Well, let's exploit it with our own show. Get a QR code up there so people can subscribe to it. You don't want promotion? Why not?
I'm all for it.
Yeah, let's.
Anyway, let's do it. What's going on with our red line?
Crossing the red line is where we talk about when China is warning the world that another country has crossed the red line.
Yeah, now apparently if the Speaker of the House, McCarthy, were to speak to Tsai Ing-wen, then America would be crossing the red line.
The final red line. There's always a final red line, but it seems like they move the goalpost every time, because they can't do anything about it.
No, every time China says crossing the red line, it's basically like saying, don't do it or we'll cry.
Yes. The first time they killed millions of fish in Operation Fish Kill when Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Second time they sanctioned a library. Hey,
they
at least
sanctioned a freaking library.
Nobody died.
Dude.
Somebody please make fan art of the library crying because it's getting sanctioned
by China. Yeah, it's like, I can't visit China now.
The library.
I'm not allowed to invest in China at the moment as a library.
Yeah,
exactly.
This was a mouthy ass thing to say.
Yeah.
Running their little mouths over here. The Global Times, which is China's English media outlet, said Tsai is scheduled to return to the island of Taiwan. They don't say country, they say island because they claim it.
Yeah, it's island, right?
From the hashtag US. I don't think they know how hashtags are. Who's searching hashtag US?
I have no idea.
Oh, I love searching hashtag US.
It's more like hashtag us.
Us, yeah.
Yeah.
From the US on Friday. On her return flight, it will be interesting to see if she will be tracked, monitored, or even escorted by PLA warplanes and warships operating around the island. It will be Is that the most bullshit petty threat you've ever heard in your life?
Such a veiled bullshit threat, isn't it?
Go home. Just
seriously,
home.
It'll be interesting to see.
I wonder.
Better watch your back,
Be escorted by the PLA warships.
Yeah.
How dare you?
It'll be interesting to see how safe you are walking down a dark alley in the middle of the night.
It's
just kind of like that kind of crap.
You dirtbag.
Exactly.
Absolute dirtbag.
It's disgusting.
Anyway, next is a little more to that.
Okay.
And they also had their article here, and it says, China vows firm and resolute measures against Tsai McCarthy meeting. Again, we've yet to see anything other than libraries getting sanctioned and fish dying.
Yeah, and then they show actual military drills.
Yes.
The Global Times.
From China military.
From China military, they show that, yeah. Very nice of them.
So that was today's red line.
Yeah.
Just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, we thought we'd put this meme up there.
Yeah, from one of our subscribers.
Yeah, exactly, well done. This guy says we crossed the red line. See, nobody cares.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that's, who is that? Wang Wenbin.
Oh, yeah, that might be this guy.
He is a water cooler diplomat. Someone famously said ages ago that he sounds like the glugging sound of a water cooler when he talks. So people have made art about that.
Yeah,
just in case you're out of the
water
loop.
cooler diplomacy.
All he talks is glugs.
Yeah,
there's nothing of meaning said.
Yeah, nothing at all.
I'm not gonna get all like feminists or weird or anything like this, right? I'm gonna.
Yeah, you already are.
This guy's like, absolutely not. You can't say no to me.
Yeah.
That didn't work, so what does he do?
Doesn't get the Chanel bag.
Gets a Chanel bag, right? Oh, I bought you this bag.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, you don't buy people. That's not how things
That's
work.
not how
You
it
know, you
works.
can't buy a relationship.
No. Oh, look at this dude. Comes in.
Oh, it just comes in like waxing.
So he has a tantrum, and he's like, I don't think chicks like that. You know what I mean? I'm totally honest. I don't think chicks
You're not
like
gonna
when
annoy
he's
them
like,
into a relationship. Yeah, you're gonna,
Love me, love me.